This is a Pyramid One International Network presentation. Hi, and welcome to Pyramid One World Radio. Let me tell you about the hosts of the upcoming show, A View of Humanity. Jamie Clark was just voted and given an award for the best psychic in Phoenix, Arizona, 3 years in a row. Evidential psychic medium Jamie Clark offers powerful and accurate validations of the spiritual dimensions around us. As a spiritual teacher, Jamie shows how to integrate the natural psychic senses with the empowerment of spiritual knowledge to help create a more fulfilling life of love, happiness, and success. Jamie's avid curiosity to understand how his gifts work have led him to participating in scientific studies about the afterlife and mediumship. As a master educator in spiritual development, Jamie shares his wisdom through his podcast, Psychic Evolution, the podcast where you discover the psychic potential within and learn how to empower yourself and manifest your psychic and mediumship abilities. Jamie Clark is also an author of the children's book series, The Adventure of Rocco and Tuki, The Kids from Mars, Book 1 and 2, as well as the Psychic Evolution Training Cards, and the Jamie Isms, Philosophies and Isms of a Psychic Medium. Now, let's talk about Maggie Clark. Maggie Clark is the co-host of the Psychic Evolution podcast and a prolific spiritual coach, an accomplished healer. Maggie is committed to helping people find a way to blend their spiritual life with their everyday life for empowerment, healing, and growth. The author of 365 Days of Tarot, inspirational tarot for your daily life. Maggie is a gifted tarot reader and astrologer. Maggie also has a healing arts practice in energy healing modalities. Together, these two team up to show you that your psychic senses are so natural, they are supernatural. Okay, now put your hands together. Let's bring them on. Oh, baby, we're willing.
Yeah, Bobby. Good to see you, sir.
God, are we doing good or what? I tell you, it's one of these things. Now, I tell you something. Too bad David's not on here, because then I'd have the map all over the world. I mean, I had him on the other day in Brazil, right? So
yeah,
right,
that was a very interesting conversation.
Right now we got Canada upstairs, Arizona, Florida. I mean, come on, all I need is Africa, and I got it made.
Well, you're getting there.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
I have friends out there. You know the White Lion? The White Lions?
Yes.
Okay, well, the owner of the compound has been on this show before.
Oh, how cool. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, and with David, are you having him on as a guest? Are you wanting to put him on as a host as well? Or what was that?
He's already been on. He's in the archives.
Well, I know that. But I mean, were you interviewing him to be a host on one of the shows for your network, or was it just to be a guest and share insights? Or
no, we did it as a guest, because I have to actually find out, I have to figure out what I'm going to, if he was going to be a host, right? How good can I make him sound to the people that would listen to him? You know what I
Right.
mean? I have to
Yep.
build him. I mean,
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
the art of production.
yeah, I mean, it's not something you just go like, right, exactly. Karen's got it. I mean, you have to kind of round out the whole story so that it's like a book, and you're going, here, this is the book, and then they want to read and read and read and read, and that's the way you build up something like that. I mean, we've had them, before many times. What I've been looking for is people in like their 20s and things like 20, 25, 28, people that are very much into all the social media and everything that would have a bazillion people come in.
Yep.
But they also have to have upstairs too. You know what I mean? I don't want somebody that's going to go, oh, wow, you know what I did? I just smacked my car around a telephone pole. Wow. You know, I can't. I'm serious. I mean, I've been fed that before. So,
Right. Karen, as you're sitting there, you've got your own connections. You're very intuitive in your own way. I don't know you that I'm aware of, but you vibe that way strongly. And I feel like you've got some changes happening for you as well. Okay. Because I get a split in your energy field. And that's a good thing, not a negative. But when I get that, a lot of times that might mean that you're either having to make a choice between something or that you might be doing multiple things at once. Okay. It's not a negative, it's just there. So I just need to validate to go one, like you are, stay strong, stay consistent. Two, I feel like things are starting to click, starting to roll a little bit more. And I'm sure you're very successful no matter what it is you're doing. However, I kind of feel like you're rolling into that success point. Okay. And being able, because you're very self-sufficient, I feel like, now you don't need anyone to help you. But it's also kind of making your own connections and finding yourself within life, like you try to help other people find themselves. Say, hi, I'm Jamie. I'm no longer a hypocrite. I keep myself included. I will always help others, but I made sure that I help myself. Because otherwise, you start doing that enough, you'll start feeling like you're living for everyone else and not yourself. And then when you start doing that, you do this. That's weird. Where'd everyone go? They get busy, they move. It just comes a reflection. I just feel like now you're kind of reconnecting with yourself again. Beautiful. And a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times when we start to reconnect with ourselves, that will usually trigger somebody from your past that you haven't seen in a year or longer that comes into your present moment. Again, it's no life change, but if anything, it's a validation of growth, meaning whoever this person will be, you'll be like, God, it's good to see you again. As you have your conversation, you'll think to yourself, maybe in my own life experience, I'm growing and changing because I used to see things like that. Now you got a solid validation of growing and changing, because I say I could grow and change all I want, but if I have no reference what I'm growing into, what? I feel like you're very practical like myself. Question everything, just be open. That way you get the practicality of spirituality. Make sense?
It totally actually makes sense. I do multitask. My background is quantum integrative medicine. I was a former actually co-host with Bob. So
cool.
So if you actually Google Karen Ann Lusick McDonald, you'll know that I'm actually the 13th clan mother.
13. That's kind of a special number there. That's beautiful.
I'm the white bear Octarian starseed, but I do international medicine and law. So thank you for being there. And as we can speak freely, thank you for your understanding at this time. So I'm in the middle of multitasking, getting a camper. My truck has just been on the process of being repaired, and I will be covering everything up here, moving from the Cree Nihilwak tribes up here, so as people know Alberta. Awesome. And literally, we just had a black U.S. military helicopter over here, a great one.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I'm sitting on a dome, which has got to go. We can talk about stuff. I just lost 2 hours like 3 weeks ago. So
yeah, isn't it interesting? Have you checked it out to see? Have you tapped in, either done medications or, as I call them? Yeah, meditations. I'm just playfully doing that. I call my meds meditation, man. Yeah. But in doing that,
it's essential oils. I'm an aromatherapist, but no, I do genius biofeedback. So I'm the one that made the antidotes for the antivenoms and stuff. So awesome. I'm a quantum instructor that's been developing all the, we'll just say the injection, but for the, what we call contact vaccinosis for the jumping. So I'm the one that made all the antidotes that are being put out at all the genius biofeedback, radionic, Rife, Tesla scalar machines right now.
Awesome.
So
and
we're busy.
Do you want to go from here?
Well, that's the whole cool thing. Once we get this engine in, nothing like having a piston blow while you're on the road. And but a lot of my clients actually were dropping from contact vaccinosis being shed on, and so they can't get out of bed. So I've been actually using my nursing background and along that line to bring them up from the spike protect and all that. So once the engines dropped in next week, then I'm heading to the beaches, the mountains, and the lakes in what we call the Sinaiakur Kootenai Mountains and ranges in there, and maybe the Upper Okanagan. So I'm going to go enjoy this. So we are more than well prepped up here. So I've got everything mobile ready to go. So yeah, but this is interesting. Like you really hit that and really nailed it on the head, because it is a multitasking as opposed to something fractionated or whatever. And I am literally in the process of moving, and I'm doing my own show. I'll be teaching. I'm a guest actually for Freedom Canada, or I do a lot with Judge Alfred Weber. So I'm part of the International New Courts as well.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
So, you better bring your laptop and that with you so we can follow you.
Yeah, I will be. And this one just cracked up here. But yeah, I was doing some stuff with some prepping groups out here, which is where I am. So I've been doing heirloom gardens and trying to teach them that we've got to go into hydroponics. So I got a, 90 site hydroponic thing coming and teaching people because of the radiation we have here in all our cities, like Calgary, everywhere is like this off the charts with 5 and 6G here. We're burning. We got hit here, and it's actually quite timely that you put us all together, Bob, because yesterday, not only inside and out, but the phones were hit, the computers went down, and we were on Ethernet here, and all the batteries drained to zero. And one of the guys had the old, fashioned self-winding watch. It stopped. So we got hit. We knew we were hit with something. I was in the middle of a call with Dr. Ariel Policano, who's with Genius Biofeedback, and Ryan Williams, because we're studying how we could do some stuff, bringing this kind of technology to people, because you can now outfit it on a phone rather than, dragging around old radionic equipment that's 20 years out of date. So, it was quite timely that, not only did we get taken, I was told there's a dam, and this is where actually things are just a position. We're right in between Calgary and Edmonton, and I was taken inadvertently over this Genesee power plant with 2 things, which is probably a new Area 51. So I have it affirmed that I was taken for the DNA, and that my DNA is still intact as a clan mother, not mutated out. So
yeah, isn't that interesting? And when we were sitting here, Maggie was saying that you remind us of a friend of ours, and she has Arcturian connections.
Correct. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's the whole connection. Is like, we'll take the scriptures aside, but the Noah's Arcturian. That's what it really is. So those 6 ET treaties that we still sit with, mine sits as the Noah's Arcturian, where there might be someone with wampum belts, peace pipes, that kind of thing. So, I'm on the ground. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. You got to blend in, man. Right now, right? You don't stand out too much in such a different way, or they lop those heads off real quick.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. And you know what? Let me see, Maggie, you were playing with the cards.
Oh, I'm always shuffling.
Yeah.
She's always shuffling
like a machine.
I'm always shuffling.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting old. I'm always shuffling too. Shuffling in this room, shuffling that room.
Right, exactly.
Shuffle.
Bridge and back, man.
Yeah,
I get a motorcycle and shuffle right out of here.
Karen, I'm very curious what else you sort of picked up, or between you and Maggie, what else that you sort of saw. It's funny because to have this, I've been taken, and then I did have it verified by, I actually was talking to Jessica Ariel Morocco, who's with the ACIO, and she was on a Galactic talking with Judge Alfred Weber at his Exopolitive site the other day. So
cool. Now, a lot of people are referencing the Galactic, but what about our intergalactic connections? Have you been able to soul saunter with that?
Yeah, actually we have. So, I've got some different friends that are in the intergalactic demands and stuff too. So this is where I went, because I wanted to see what had happened. So there was a DNA, I had a mark behind my left ear and then one on the abdomen. So.
And notice they still let you walk around. Isn't that interesting?
We have friends in very high places. Very nice. Good keepers.
Yeah.
How high?
Very high.
No longer is it the sky's the limit. You're like,
Exactly.
that was old school.
Exactly.
We'll go way beyond that.
Yeah. I used to do a lot at what I think when Bob and I did some stuff was a couple years ago when I was with Project Ascension and Sergeant Bassard. But we did a lot of shows back then, and there's just so much stuff going on that people are just kind of catching up with, sort of what's been going on and the space program. So in here, but Yeah, no, they do. I was actually very rarely will something like what just happened. And, I'm very sensitive as well in my own
Right.
way,
Got your
so
attention.
you've picked up the psychic thing, everything's buzzing here. We're all hot and everything else. So I'm the new
Nice.
canary, the coal mine going on the ground because we can't measure a lot of this 5 and 6G. Our meters are all going off, but the rural areas are not safe. So I'm going to go find some nice mountainous area that some of
And
this can't travel into.
and there may be a potential that not very many people are aware of those kinds of dynamics.
Yeah.
They're just living their own life, doing themselves, man, which is beautiful. But it's also, as you know, like I do, I'd like to have a little bit of knowledge if I can in any way. And then the ability to hold that knowledge and communicate without being shut down. That's a big indicator because you could have all the knowledge in the world, but if you ain't able to connect, so
Well, this is
you're
why
in
I
a
got into.
position.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Yeah.
positions and your connections to people are also being amplified by your brothers and sisters. You
Oh,
are
thank you.
part of that. Yeah, yeah. So it's really nice when you can have that connection that one, you're not alone, but two, that they can work through you as the conduit, not manipulation, but co-creation. And you've
Mm-hmm.
got those eyes when you register things in your soul beautifully. So the good thing is they can just segment that and then unify it all. They'll go, hey, here's the eternal beingness, right? Talk about it. And then, in this case, because I've just got an insatiable hunger, and that is, in the scientific aspects, I'm not a doctor, not a scientist, nothing, but I
Mm-hmm.
believe that they've found that humans are basically energy. And
Mm-hmm.
with that definition of being energy in quantum physics, they found that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. But then I say, but wait a minute. If that means in a very scientific, quantifiable way that we're eternal and we have always been, and yet this universe has only been here 14.3 billion years, we may not be from this universe. Or something like that.
Yeah, that could have been brought in, towed in by the progenitors and the builders and those kind of races. I mean, there's a
And
lot of
beyond.
for the
Yep.
terraforming, right? I've known people that have those memories, and clients we've looked after too on that. They can't shut down everyone. Yeah, I'm finding a lot of people are really having like amazing dreams and teleporting and off planet, and so I think this is we're seeing that with a 3D, 5D, whatever, 6D, 7, whatever D split, right? Is either it's like the wheat from the chaff, you know what I mean? Everyone is getting either better or they can't handle it.
Well,
And
and I think that that's a major thing. I've been seeing that a lot. For me, the past couple of years have been a major exit point for a lot of people on this planet,
sure.
meaning dying, graduating, whatever you want to call it. And I've had more than 20 people that I'm aware of graduate over the past couple of years, and they've not all been COVID, nothing. It's just a
Yeah.
variety of different aspects. So I think it's a real, as you were saying, that this is a shift in consciousness. You're either here to help, bridge the connection of unification and
Right.
oneness, or you get to graduate and have some fun in other ways. Doesn't mean they don't help us this way, but they might help us in different ways than what they were doing here.
Well, it's interesting that you kind of bring that up because there's so many people. Like I'm aware there's so many different exopolitics and planets right now that are up there.
Oh,
Whether
yeah.
you call it relocation, whether you call it harvesting, whether you do whatever, but those people have chosen their own demise out there. Like I said, most of what I've been doing in the last 2 years, is not only meeting but doing the disclosure, right? But doing the stuff like the enemas, the colonics, the water therapies, putting them on like our Tesla plates and stuff like that for radionics to put this type of stuff up there. But being successful where we're doing it pre and post in the blood, but this contact vaccinosis is jumping. It's so real. People don't realize that. That's the majority of why they're going down. And once they hit that bottom, it's very hard for them to come up. I'm seeing so many young people, and including myself. We went to a dentist. I had a whole bunch of trauma in there recently, and they're getting jumped by the dentist. And within 3 days, they can't get out of bed. So, we've been using some of the, amethyst biomass, but we've been having to literally hook them up to our bio feedbacks to basically trickle charge them back because they're knocking out all the chakras. And they're misinterpreting it. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Here again. I mean, this is the third time. I had 4 people, I guess, in the last 2 weeks can't get out of bed.
Dang.
And it's not depression.
Right.
It's presenting in such a different array depending on the individuals, right? And I know, like you were saying, I've had friends that just went in for a leg infection, right? And I'm a former neonatal nurse. I've been nursing like 40 years,
Wow.
allopathic but quantum and integrative, and PhD at the IQIM for quantum medicine. But,
Cool.
We're looking at that stuff, and they go in for leg infections and they're coming back. They don't even come out of the hospital anymore. So we're all, I think, being touched by that. Not just that, but our relatives and children, and we've got to look at this new thing, and we'll be the ones verging this, over here, because it's a shift in consciousness. It's a shift in food. It's nutrition. Like, even I came to a prepping site here, and they don't have the concept of using like heirloom seeds all the time, or we got to move to the hydroponics because we're having to put chicken wire and stuff and
Yep.
dig down now because you can't do this, gardening, and we're getting rid of the pharmacies and stuff and the farmers like that have been doing the GMO.
So technology-wise, and again, just my awareness, but
Yeah.
as I do remote viewing and a variety of other things, the next wave of healing modalities will more than likely be referred to as vibrational frequency targeting, because everything has its own unique vibrations and all that kind of good stuff. So they can literally, as you know, they can send those signals and adjust and kill only the cancer cells and no other side effects at all.
That's it right here. So we've already developed it. This is the most recent one, upgraded by Ryan Williams. He developed it. It is a scalar rife PEMF and all those things all at once. So that's it actually in action. So I can pick up, I actually know about what was in the venoms because I studied venoms in injections in 2005. So I made all the antidotes a long time ago. So all our people, and that's what I'm saying at Genius Biofeedback, people can go and download the app. We put it as an app so they couldn't stop us, the government, by the FDA or Health Canada.
That was smart.
We thought we were quite genius at that point, but
Better get creative. That's right.
I can tell by the aura if someone's been jumped.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's sitting in the field, and you can tell, because this is one of the ones too. Like, we have just rifes for a couple hundred you can put on your phone. We have just that vibrational medicine. So to me, this is better than, as you call, a holographic chamber or a regen bed or a life pod, call it whatever. Everyone's got the tacking energy for it. But this, actually, we can hook ourselves up, and I just did a guy actually a few minutes ago before we got in. You can put this on or just with the headphones, because he actually injured his knee. And I've broken my knee and broken my ankle, and I don't even have a health card. I did it all through this. I can look at the spine, I can look at the minerals, I can look at every traditional Chinese medical acupuncture. So we have become Star Trek. I like this. I've been doing this Star Trek. Yeah. So you just open it up, it tells you where to go, and instead of shooting a needle, you put the scalar wave right into that point and open it up. Things flow.
And that's been out for a while, right? Because I've been aware of this for a long time. To go, man, it's just the next phase, and they're not stupid. The government, the drug companies make a lot of money, so they're not going to just flip it and neutralize them. They'll all get to a certain extent on the bandwagon so that everyone can have their own enjoyment of that. With that connection, do you think possibly some of your extraterrestrial connections are helping you with some of these dynamics?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know this interface it's not just, I don't like to think of it as AI. It's more like biometrics. So a lot of this stuff has been reverse engineered. They're still trying to reverse engineer it, but some of them only function on higher frequency. You got to be 560 or higher to even operate this at its optimum level.
Right.
So that's the difference, is that anyone can operate these, and the things are self-healing. That's the point, is that you don't have a third party involved. I don't need a naturopath doctor. I don't need the chiropractor. I don't need anything. It tells me like what herb or what oil, or do you really need pine pollen? No. It will tell me what the remedy is, and then you put everything in a box, and it hits the vibration of all these different frequencies. I mean, so I can look at I know it's out of focus right now, but in there it might be I can look at the spike protein, I can look at the radiation, I can see, do I need apple pectin, and from there just do that, and it will analyze it. So these machines, I was one of the first skio therapists up here, which are $30,000 machines, plus you got to go to the IQIM, and there's another medical degree, which because we put out medical doctors, right? And then we came into this kind of technology. Ryan developed it. Basically, I came on board in 2016. So you're right, it's been around. And it's not the Healy, and it's not the Spooky, and it's not the EES systems, which are like 28,000 to 100,000. All you have to do is hook yourself up. It's vibrational, like you said. We don't need to have expensive stuff. Yeah. And, when we're going from giga to terahertzes and terahertzes to gigahertzes and all that, I use everything through water. So what I was doing was putting the water on, spring water, I'd add, on these plates. And, if I want to hook it up, like that EES system or something like that, I can do it through stereos here if I want.
It's a little bit like Nikola Tesla.
It is.
Yeah, and he's the one who helped us, one of the people who helped us scientifically validate at the University of Arizona some of this consciousness existing beyond bodily death. And he's always referred to it as a doorway, not a vortex, not a portal. It's always, at least for me, he calls it a doorway. So I find it very interesting that these people, some of the scientists, and him and a few others that are pretty well known, that back then made major life-changing experiences in technology that even from the other side, they wanted to come back and help humanity to help themselves. That's freaking brilliant. I love that. And enough to be accurate with the information and all that to go, well, if we're doing it and question everything, now we realize that maybe it's the evolution of our awareness. Because just to me, some people perceive we've been here about 5,000 years. Like, are you kidding me? We're way beyond that. And, some of the
what I told you, Jamie.
Yeah.
This is the fourth time we're going around.
Yeah. And more.
Brad, what? But like you said, like Tesla was apparently like connected to certain Palladian groups, whether it was Tagada, Dakota. I've been in contact with several different groups, right? So in here, plus people through, Looking Glass technology and Stargate technology, I've been taken to some of the gates. I know where they are. We had a huge flood, which they tried to take out at Hope, British Columbia in the fall time. And that whole area went radioactive with all the underground radiation bases being blown. So we're all like Calgary everywhere. They're shutting it down by the A Council and the Andromedas and whoever else is in there and whatever galactics they're in. So it's not a bad thing. There's quite a bit in there, and the technology can interface, but it's no different than I remember Patty Broussard talking about some of this stuff, like the original artifacts and the people that were here. And a lot of these people are from the future, almost coming back. They're time travelers, right? Mm-hmm. And we're all part of those little programs, I think, at some degree. But in here, it's the biometrics, and even the whole quantum systems are going into, like you said, it's vibrational. They can tell, I've done clients and all of a sudden you got a helicopter overhead, or, you go to a medicine wheel at a Saskatoon, or, different things we've done. But there's so much, in there. And like a lot of it is the education that even what we're playing with, this is still all natural. It's not an artificial technology. You're still playing with elements off the earth and different crystals. This is crystal technology. It's just like, that's my crystal bed there. There's an amethyst crystal vial in that. I can use any crystals off. I was doing like drumming and oils and shamanism the other day, getting people reconnected, like getting that soul retrieval back as well.
Yeah, we got one of those beds here, and every single time I say, you're going to lay on those rocks. Oh, man, I don't get killed.
Yeah. Right. Well,
hey.
I laugh because when I used to teach this, like, because we get this at the Biomat e-store, like with Christina, she was one of our people at the Vancouver Island Central we set up there. And we used to, it was amethyst means to methos, means to get stoned.
Hey, dude. Got it.
Get your rock off and get stoned here, right? Like fly high, but all that amethyst, like Bob would know with the third eye, right? Just to keep,
We got some people here on the phone. So I want to try to, take a couple of these because I see them going on and off and on and off and on and off, and they're like, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" So
let's do it. Let's have some fun.
Just hang in there. Let's see what we got. Whoa! Oh God, we lost her. Okay, now you guys in the phone. This is what I want you to do. Be as quiet as you possibly can, and you got a couple over there. So I will pick one at a time, based on your area code. So I'll call your area code, and then you can say hi, okay? Okay. So, 909, who's on the line?
This is Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. How you doing? Here's Jamie.
Hey, Jessica.
Hi, Jamie.
What's up, my dear? How can we be of service to you? What are you looking for?
My question is, I'm having some health issues and just wanting to know, is it going to be something very serious? Should I be really concerned or nothing too bad?
I'm not a doctor, cannot diagnose for nothing, for nobody, never. But it would be a good idea to make sure that you follow through. Ignorance is not bliss in this case. Do you feel me?
Okay, yeah, I heard you.
Click. I think we helped.
I think you're still there. Just talk closer to the phone.
Okay, so just follow through is what you're saying.
Yes, ma'am, if you would. I think that would be a very good idea. Yes. Because end result, you do have the ability to be very productive.
Perfect. All right.
Cool.
You.
Yeah, you got it. And do that and put it to the test. Let us know how it goes, if you would, please.
I will.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, me
Beautiful.
too.
Okay, thank you, Jamie.
You got it. Take care. You know, that's beautiful. And a lot of people are going through some major life-changing, and in this case, a lot of health issues too. It's just crazy in an interesting way. But I think a lot of the chaotic vibes and a variety of other things might be contributing to a lot of these physical health issues. And,
You know, gets all this stuff in there with this is 5G, and people say, well, you know, it's on the this is somebody who was out middle of America. Okay, they said, well, you know, it's right on the telephone pole outside my house. I said, oh, it is? Do you know how? I mean, within 100 feet, you're fried. So,
yeah,
I mean, even if it's on the pole outside your house, I mean, you didn't give any permission for it to be on that pole outside your house. The government gave its own permission for them to put it there because they have to put one in every 2 or 3 or 4 telephone poles. They don't, it's not like if you were transmitting, say it was a CB, and you were talking to your friend and he was on the other side of town. Well, you'd be able to, as the bird flies, you'd be able to directly connect one signal with another signal. That wouldn't be no problem. You know, you got distance and everything else. No big deal. 5G has to be repeated.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, you have to have one on one pole and another one maybe 3 or 4 poles down and another one 3 or 4 poles down to there. So it's a whole network of these transmitters. And the transmitters are hot all the time. Not even the guys that put them up go anywhere near them when they're on.
I bet.
Well, they get
Yep.
your health wise, which Karen is holding up the thing on that.
Cool. What is that?
I've got 3 different types up here. This is a SOAKS Ecovisor, but it can actually do radiation and some EMF nitrates. And then I've got water testers here because I used to hang out with David Wolf. So I'm all about the spring water.
Cool.
Love that. Anyway, but what I've been doing, and we need to get what's called an acoustometer. So these are called dosimeters because they measure the radiation. And I had to get a much better one than that. I'll just find it somewhere on my floor here. It's called, and this one's called SOAKS, but there's one that I'm getting for gamma and beta. And the reason why is because we've got beta radiation coming down and gamma. And the one that I've got is from a company called GMC. And it's got the beta as well. And what's been happening, it's a combination. We can't really measure so much 6G, but we know it's gone active. I've done shows with Tony Pantalleresco up here and Judge Alfred Weber. And anyone that's got the Lyme or Morgellons is just frying right now. We're all are. So we can't measure it, but we can feel it.
Well,
and that's the difference.
You know what else this does? It's also what's the gland in the brain? The pineal gland.
Pineal, pituitary, okay,
Shut
yeah.
that down.
Yeah.
Now, if you were going to be a psychic or you were going to be a spiritual person, and you know, use that gland for what it was there for in the first place. Some people telepathic talk with other people. in use of that gland,
Mhm.
it's going to be shut down almost on purpose. Like, hey, let's make you a veggie.
Mm.
Yeah, what's really is I really suggest people get a tri-field as well, like to try and see what the RF is doing. Like right now, I don't know if you can hear it now, but there's thunder, which is a direct energy weapon again, being on, and plasma. We have had in one day, we had like 4 inches coming down of chemical stuff. So the floods are happening because they're trying to cool down, obviously, the bases and stuff too that they're, using with these, directed plasma energy. So we need almost every tool right now in there, and that's why I do have these, because I've been going on the ground. And I mean, people assume, like here, oh, I got 20 acres, we're going to have the prepping sites. And I said, it doesn't matter how far you are from these towers. I was up in Dawson Creek, which I found a bug out center for the elite, by the way, in the middle of nowhere. Because what happened is during, I don't know if you know, but in the 50s during World War II and post of it, is that the American Army came up here doing the Alaska Highway and all this stuff, right, was the cover story, but they built all the dams and the transit systems underneath, and trafficking and drain combs and stuff. So what happened in here is that now they're having to be taken out and the dams are going to have to come, but the radiation is off the charts. And so I actually did, as you look for, 2G, 3G, and the thing is that the 5G's gone from 2.4 up to about, 26. So it's actually gone 8-fold higher.
Wow.
So even in that spectrum, you can't just say 5 and 6G, right? And 6G goes on a terahertz. And so that's the heat that we're all starting to feel. That's what they're looking for. That's your corona response, is the heating, because you're basically getting an artificial fever. But, Bob's right. It's hitting the third eye. And that's why we're seeing a lot of people imbalanced, and then half my education is teaching people is we don't need ivermectin. We've got shikona bark, which is natural quinine. I teach people to do enemas, colonics, herbal essential oil aromatherapy suppositories. People don't realize, things like ivermectin are drugs. They've never taken a pharmacology class, and the side effects could be delayed. So a lot of people were doing these things, injecting up the butt. And I'm a colon hydrotherapist professionally, by the way. I've done thousands of things to people's butts.
I was like, you're kicking ass.
I can kick ass. I'm #1 in the #2 business, let me tell you. You could go to Project and Section and just learn about hydrotherapy. I did. When I had my center in Saskatoon, I used to have this big, those big billboards, right? And I said, I'm #1 in the, you're feeling. People used to come in just to see what I was putting on the boards.
Well, that's right. You get it enticing. It's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Open a scoop. Yeah.
In the capacity of what you have been in the healing, what got you to go in this direction?
That's a great question, because there I was, like an allopathic nurse, registered to the Draco at the Royal Draco Hospital in Saskatoon, by the way.
Draco.
Trudeau likes
like
to go
the
for
reptilians.
Exactly. Right. So I'm quite well aware of what was going on. And I was the union rep for like 15 years. So I knew what was going on the other side too. Yep. That never got out to the public. But what happened is that we all have an aha moment. And my children are involved in the MK Ultra, in the trafficking, by people that were trafficked like their father and stuff like that. That was a lawyer in Saskatoon.
And you've been able to help the family?
John Paul Kwok. Anyway, so a lot of these people are part of these trafficking and different nefarious things. And so I had that aha moment. So I was the first one to start learning about tribal law, treaty law. And so what you call the secret space program came to me, and the White Hats and the Alliance and the Q Command. And I started with that, trying to protect the children in 1997. So what people are learning about common law is actually not the law of the land. It's based on our mtDNA and our bloodlines that go back, as you said, how many thousands and billions years ago. So you had 12 nations, you had 12 clans, which are your kind of like your new souls, and then the 12 tribes. So they would have had 13 clan mothers, and they would have had 13 tribal mothers. And the original Terran Gaia bloodline is positive, so I'm AB positive. So it's all in there. Like I said, I still know the Tartarian stuff, so I'm still with my kilt, and I'm still a little tart. But people don't have those original customs, usages, and laws, and so that's what got me in there. Was initially the child protection, and then from there, I met with Dr. Gary Young. That was pivotal in some of my learning from Young Living Oils, And we ended up being on some of the same committees. And so I was learning organite, I was learning crystals. He had the first like colon hydrotherapy that I ever went to. And I was putting in everything from MMS to peroxide to every essential oil I could think of to go in those chambers, crystallized. And now I've taken them, then I put the water here and then not drink it orally. I'm the first one to start teaching also V steams. So I don't know if you know about that. You know, have you
Is
heard
that
about-
yoni steaming?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
There it is right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so whether it's wood or whatever, I teach that. The other thing is women doing yoni pearls, right? And using the water that I've retransformed. Oh, here comes the rain. It's going to be torrential again. I feel like I'm in the tropics here, Bob. I remember when you were moving and things were hitting out here, but we're gonna get hit again today. It's almost been like 7 days straight. But we've been putting the herbs in there, or what I've been doing is teaching people how to make like yoni pearls, which is actually you take the herbs, whatever you want, and you put them into a little gauze, like a cheesecloth with a string. So it looks actually like a tea bag with a string, and you use that as a tampon. And so we would put that in for parasite cleansing. So you could put your chicon, as long as it's not hard bark, but teaching all that kind of stuff.
Well,
You know,
know,
and that's what I'm
interesting.
saying. Yeah.
With you and talking about Nicola and the technology with putting the liquid on there, also Dr. Masuro Emoto, who was the
Right.
one who studied water. And
Mr.
with
Masuro.
that, could you just amplify 1 glass of water, and then because of the molecular structure of the water holding the thought patterns
Yeah.
within it, you could
Yeah.
just keep integrating that with the human body, that you could literally bring a whole new vibrational frequency of connection just by the intent alone.
That's exactly what I was doing. It was actually, he learned his stuff. It wasn't Emoto, actually. It was Chandini Leray.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you know that.
He's
but
the
we-
one. No, I don't. No, he's
He's
the
the
one
one
who
that
I've been
took it.
aware of.
He's the one that took the credit, but she was the one that taught him everything in there. But what happened is that it's exactly what we're doing. So we have a water, what you call harmonizer. So you can actually put, instead of like a power plate, you could put the water on here. But I took it one step further, is that I took the spring water because it's biophotonic. RO stuff is not the same thing, and neither is well water needed. But the spring water with all the ormus rich actually levitates. It's already something that would levitate. And so that's why I use that. And then in here, exactly, that's what I've been doing. So not only do we put these items in here, whatever I want, you know, like we're showing you in the tray. So for example, I'll even do that for the listeners, because what they can do is they can go back with headphones, or we do this on Skype, Facebook, Telegram, whatever. And we teach this so that you've got 2 weeks for free. You could get rid of, like, you know, any tumor very quick.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay,
Huh.
so, you know, there was something that Ryan's got in his site at Inside Health Apps, but part of it is what not only was Tesla was doing, but there were people way before and way after Tesla. And Ryan was right up there because he's the one that developed this to make it Star Trek-ish, actually. And we could actually take this and use different ports, not only for water, but I can imprint the crystal. I can hook myself up directly, or the water that steams up, or the water that was going in for enemas, because it's 100% absorbed. So I don't need to get any drug. I don't need to buy anything. Once you have one of these, we have all these libraries. So right now, that's why I was looking in, and you know, I've got one here built in for ET, alien races. So people that do readings, this is another way I do psychic readings, by the way, because I can look back and say, oh, what time period is it in? Oh, is it this life? Is it the past life? I have one in here just for ET, you know, in here, or for animals that we can do in, because we're seeing a lot of that. But ET, alien, I did one for sexual abuse, ritual abuse, for MK Alter, you know, in here. Or the ones I made recently was, I mean, just even for what you call the venoms. I was just on a call actually talking with Brian Artis the other day. But, you know, you're starting to see these things, and people, you know, why are you picking these things up? You know, I'm telling people, go get some organic Chinese 5 spices. It's a lot cheaper, or star anise, or whatever you do. It's all custom. And then what you made a great point there, because what I did is I took the water the clients make. I just made some like in a mason jar for people, and they can just add water, because that water is potentized for the next month. And I have them put it in all the water tributaries. So down the well, in the lakes, in the waters, and all the river systems.
Now you have it charged for apparently a month in that way. Is there a limit, or could you do it eternally?
You could do it technically in their in perpetuality, but what happened is that just for potency in there. But the thing is, that's why we gave it to people out there for free on an app, because you should not have to do this. It's the first thing as a calamither. Everyone should have the right to heal, and it shouldn't cost anything, like, $200 every time someone, goes to see a doctor, a naturopath, or whatever it might be. But we have every cancer in here that was induced by the virus programs and through the injections. We have all that. So I have a whole rife system. But like I said, some of these are just even less than like $100 or $200 to put on your phone. They're not expensive. So instead of going to a doctor, you could do this and look after your family, everyone. I can actually put it here. And just by putting this out, actually can, even within 2-3 minutes, everyone that's listening is getting that vibration. So
okay, now that's interesting.
Yeah.
Notice from that one technology, you can connect the whole entire planet.
That's the goal. That's the vision for the clan mothers, so that we can actually put the water in and put them in those sacred spots in the ley lines, which I happen to know, the grid lines. So there's a thing called Earth Grid Star, 19 + 1 points, and I hold those crystals.
Cool.
So in there, that's something, and that's exactly what it is.
And it brings up an interesting point for myself, and that is going through the technology, or for myself, mantras and meditations and all that to get psychically on. Well, after many years, excuse me, as I share a lot with people, but I would wake up in the morning, turn on the music, light the candles, and do meditations for about 30 minutes, and then I was psychically on. And after many years, I asked my master guide, Chi, I'm like, Chi, is there anything I can do to help me speed this up? Because I feel like I'm freaking working from the time I get up. And he's like, well, yeah, Jamie. You know how when you wake up and you put on the music and light the candles and do your meditations and then you're psychically on? I said, yes. It's like, okay, once you've gone through all of those steps, and you're psychically on, and train how it feels to be psychically on, and lock that in. Create a white button in your mind, push it, and you go instantly. I went from 30 minutes to 30 seconds. With the technology that you have, could the person receive the healing in whatever crystal structure it is sent, but then entrain to have that on autopilot, and to maybe create different channels to create new frequencies of information?
Perfect. We've already got that built in. We covered that. So I have a whole thing too, just even for people like on ascension and stuff, like if they want to go into things, is 3D, 4D, 5D, whatever. But going into that, where you can put it in, I can run this overnight. So I've had people, let's say for in comas in the hospitals, whether it's diabetic, over whatever it might be. So what I did is that I run these 24 hours. So yes, we can run it on an autopilot. I can do it distance. You can do it live. 95% of what I do is distance readings as well. And in here, one of the other things we can do is we can record it, so you can have that. You can have quantum capsules, or you can actually, like a time capsule, listen to it daily or add to it or get a playlist that we need. But I really think because it's so easy to access and so inexpensive, and even this particular thing with Ryan Williamson and Ariel, they made it rentable. I mean, that's unheard of to do stuff like that. And like I said, if people just want to do Rife or Scalar or PMF, or we have wearable stuff that we can actually interface with this. So this could be like the mothership, and then I can walk with my little satellite, which I have on here. Nice. So that potential is in there that you can do it that way. And, instead it's drugless, it's soundless. Like I said, I can do acupuncture. I could do, instead of seeing a chiropractor, I can go right into that. We have the whole sacred geometry built in, because people don't realize how the fields are built properly. So a lot of it, to me, is teaching.
And that brings up an interesting point with, of course, the other gentleman, but Dr. Masaru Emoto. He found that love literally created a geometric shape. For me, frickin' A. Let's redo that and go from a holographic image. Let's do some holographic healing. Put it in one cell and let it multiply through all of them. Unification. Do you guys do any of that kind of dynamic?
Absolutely. That came back to even using the water, or you could use your DNA and redo it. There are people that do even urine therapy. You could put the urine on that. There's so many different possibilities that is outside the spectrum of most people's thought processes that we use.
Oh,
but anything that will go, in, across the blood-brain barrier. Like I could grab my, I have a great supplier up here at Banff called Neve Essence Oils. And with Tony, we keep a huge stash there, but sandalwood for the third eye, to get rid of the fear. You got to remember this is built also for dissecting mental and emotional issues, or what do I need to take someone off for trauma, or what's the potential we can look at? We have behavior things, for cognitive issues. The other thing I built into mine was actually education. So I have a whole thing here on radiation education or 5G, because this is the big thing is people are not addressing this as radiation illness, and there's a great one that we did at, they've based most of my work. It's something that's called Vaccine Choice Canada. Pamela Richardson set up a subsidiary group, and we just did one if they go to Rumble, and Vaccine Choice Canada's got a whole thing on what I've done with this, but how the jumping is happening. And I really encourage people to do that. Myself, I don't take on anyone that's been injected or swabbed up because of the nanotech. And that brings in the possessions, the walk-ins, the whole interdimensional archonic stuff that is what we're seeing now. We're being in contact. Yeah.
Yeah, with my team, frick that. I'm not getting challenged with those kind of oddball things.
Let's somebody on the phone come in and say a few words.
Come on in.
Come on, right?
You feeling lucky?
Yeah, but I got somebody from, it must be a neighbor of yours, Jamie.
Cool.
Who's area code 928? Who's on the line?
Hi, it's Robin. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Robin.
Hey, Robin.
What's up, kiddo? How can we be of service to you? What are you looking for?
Well, about 5 days ago, I saw a white light outside my window. It was a flat, illuminated light, but it's, 7 a.m. in the morning, so it was daylight. And I wanted to know if you guys know what that is, where it comes from, what it was doing there, anything.
Now you're in
any information.
You're in Prescott, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. There was a couple of things not going on there. I read it on the one of the articles net that I was reading, and that somebody had seen lights up in that area. It's funny she had said the lights, because I'm reading, where she's from is Prescott, and I'm saying, wait a minute, isn't that the place? And then she said it.
Maggie's from Prescott. Well, she was there for 20 years.
Illuminated
there you go.
Light, and it was flat.
Mm-hmm. Just sometimes, depending on the technology and what they're using.
What's that?
Depending on the technology and what the propulsion system is and all that kind of stuff. And there's many different designs, it's incredible, pyramids and all that kind of stuff. It's amazing. But I do feel like you are making a direct connect. Now, I got to share a fact that when I was going up to see Maggie when she was living there and we were first connecting, I'm driving up and it was dark. And as I started getting a little bit closer to Prescott, the entire freaking sky was lit up with light. I'm like, what the? And people are like, oh, yeah, that happens all the time. And I thought, holy cow, because I haven't seen it like that. Yeah, exactly. But again, with so many.
Anything like that.
Yes, ma'am. But the good thing is at least you saw it. Great thing is you're questioning it. Excellent thing is you're not that crazy. Again, a lot of people are having a reality check, and those kinds of circumstances are starting to happen a little bit more commonplace.
Do you think, hey, wait a minute, Jamie, don't you think that someone somehow wants to start communicating?
They do. Yes. Yep.
It's
a neutralized interaction. Her choice is she wants to pick up the vibes of information connected to it.
It used to be, I was just talking to somebody this morning, about things like this, like a long, long time ago, like you'd see something and then it would move. And I think I told you stories about it on one of our shows, that I was out putting out the garbage. And all of a sudden I saw this thing right over our neighbor's house, but not over the house. But you could look up in the air and it was in the sky over the thing. And I'm sitting there looking at this thing. It's very, very slowly going. And you figure, what would an airplane be doing that high up in the air, All of a sudden it goes, whoosh, and it'd be gone. And then, whoosh, to be back. So I got my mother and I brought her outside. She thought I was totally out of my mind, but she looks up in the air and she goes, so maybe they're watching. But this was something that was like, this was when I was a kid. So you got to figure 1965, 66, 67 in that ballpark somewhere. And now it's like all the time you see things like that. We see them down here. I mean, let's face it, we've got space ports down here, with like shooting up rockets and things like that. So they'll shoot the rocket up one morning, and the next morning you go outside and you might see something.
Nice.
It's like somebody's over there just checking it out,
What if that is part of that on a mass consciousness? To me, light is information, love is creation kind of thing. So those light vibrations can carry a lot of information within it. And you just even connecting with it can put you on that channel, that frequency, that connection of information.
Well, you know that too, Annette. If you're concentrating, say you're meditating. I mean, that would be a great time for me to do it in the morning. But you're meditating. Now your mind is completely empty. You know what I mean? It's how would you say it? It's ready for communication, in a sense. Your concentration on something might actually, at one time or another, somebody may go, "Hi, we're here."
Yeah, because it becomes that focused awareness to go, "Oh, there's the light in the sky, how pretty." And they're not thinking about all the other stuff that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've got that direct connect. And in just a brief moment, they can upload you with all that information. But it's just there. Because to me, we all have everything within. It just becomes uploaded so that it's the conscious awareness of that information. And then the ability to use that technology, in this case for humanity, to help better ourselves. But that's another reason why we weren't going to come and save this planet as an outside source. That starseed is we're going to be bringing our beings into this planet so that we kind of are humans. That way it's not manipulation, but co-creation. And when you can do that enough and effectively and efficiently, you'll bring some way showers and all that kind of stuff to help organize and orchestrate. But we're now starting to get to that amplified energy, that tipping point of consciousness, which is there now for the planet. But it's becoming a lot more constant to where there's no manipulation. People are just seeing it in the sky or whatever the case is. So it's not freaking them out. It's just now becoming more commonplace. And your mom to go, "Oh, yeah, somebody's watching." You're like, holy cow, that's old school, man. Back then, that's not that easy. Now there's been so much over the years that it's commonplace. "Oh yeah, of course I see that stuff." Yeah, and so the more relaxed and receptive you can get, the more in tune you can connect with that information. But to me, all of these channels are always playing. It's what do you tune into that you want to receive information or communicate with.
Mm-hmm. What else, Robin?
As I went off into left field, Robin?
Because it wasn't really up in the sky. It was more roof line level. It was right down here, and it just kind of floating around. And I brought my husband in to show him I'm not going crazy. And then I checked back a little later, and it was still there, kind of moving up and down, and then it just flew right up over our roof.
Excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
I just wondering what it is, and
Well, and like Jamie said, when he feels like there's a direct connect, if you have been what he would call uploaded with any type of vibrational frequency information, I call it downloads, he calls it uploads, whatever, you can tap into that at a later time when you're ready to kind of explore that, just by opening up your mind and saying, okay, I'm going to allow my mind to open to any information of the light
and target it.
Yeah. And just, do this when you feel like, okay, for the love for the best of all concerned, let me feel into that information and see if you feel anything, see if you sense anything, and then write it down. And the more you start communicating with, what you're feeling and sensing, and with our brothers and sisters, I think they're just waiting to communicate with us very openly, but they're getting us used to their presence here as well. So take your time to ask questions. You can ask for specific types of information. You could say, well, I'd like it to be revealed to me, get a journal out, write things down. All of these things can help integrate that experience. And, it will start to unfold or unravel itself, kind of like what would it be like? I don't know. I guess it could be very different for each person. So, but I would suggest doing that if you want to explore it, in your downtime or, just by yourself.
There are some times where you might be psychically activated. Those frequencies like, "Pip, I just got an intuitive like," and it's not manipulation. They just send the signal out. And if you choose to vibe with it, then you can activate, even more so. Everyone's a psychic medium. Everyone, if you get a soul, you're a psychic medium, truly. So it's that kind of connection that look at how casual you are. You're questioning. It's like, yeah, what was that light floating around here and kind of going up and down and this way and that? And even thinking about it, you're on that channel. What if, I'm not sure if you were listening to the whole show, but we're talking about Dr. Masaru Emoto and how thoughts can affect the molecular structure of water. What if just by even, what if just by even seeing that light, you're on that structure, that frequency, and they know, not manipulation, but you even connecting with that is now picking up that light frequency. Many different levels, many different aspects. And then it's really cool. So the great thing is don't be surprised if you get a little bit more intuitive, more so than you are. And I was like, weird, but I feel like this thing's going to happen. And either write it down or say it if you're okay. Don't freak people out. But for me, I wanted a track record because otherwise you could go, yeah, I saw it. Really? Did you? Did you really? If you have no validation, you can say you saw everything. So for me, I'm just very practical. But within that, because I feel like you are very practical, the good thing is you're questioning this. The great thing is if you'll do what Mag is sharing, and that is start making a direct connect for yourself and see what happens. Be open, be receptive. You might be very pleasantly surprised.
That's cool.
Well, there you go.
I'll try that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Keep us posted, please. Let us know what you find, man. You might be very, very pleased that you did.
Okay.
We have another one. Its area code is
Okay, we'll do one more.
480, and his name is Jay. Hi, Jay. Hello, Jay. Earth to Jay.
Maybe that's me. My husband is Jay.
Okay. So it's got his
that's
name
a good one.
Got his name on it, so that's
okay.
all right. So now you're in trouble.
Hey, so what's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, how are you? What's up? What can we do for you?
I'm good. I just happened to sit down at my computer and I saw you were doing psychic readings today, and I just thought I would tune in. So
awesome.
Well, you're live on the radio.
Hey, have you had somebody that you haven't seen in quite some time come back into your present moment? I just feel like you've got somebody who is going to reconnect with you, and it doesn't have to be life-changing, but if anything, it's kind of a reconnection from your past. Very strong. It doesn't have to be anything major, but as soon as you're talking, it's very strong. I feel like, you have changes, but I also feel like you're starting to refine your own direction. Maggie is doing a layout here, so I'm going to let her share.
So also, Jennifer, this is like a huge expansion time for you, personally, even energetically, emotionally, across the board. I feel like you're pulling from new levels, like brand new levels. You have 3 aces here: Ace of Pentacles, Wands, Cups. It's huge for opening. But what you're expanding into is your own potential of who you are and how you define yourself. Now, the Judgment card shows up here as a main focal point for you, which means this is about tapping into why you're here, your sole responsibility. And you're opening up to first, what does that mean for me personally? How is it going to show up in my life? How am I going to integrate it? How am I going to live it? What does it actually open within me when I think about that word, sole responsibility? You've come here for a purpose. We all have. And over time, our purpose gets revealed to us over and over and over again in new ways. But this is one of those moments in time where you are super ready to open up to your own energy, your own experiences, your own heart, all of these things. It's just an opening, almost like a lotus flower blossoming, just like kind of, whoo, look at all these petals. What's possible within me? So I would dig in deep and ask yourself, ooh, what do I feel like? What do I feel like I'm here to do? Because how you define yourself when you have all those aces in the I am frequency is very potent. It has a level of what some people would call magic, what some people would call energy. It's we can shift all the words we want, but it has this potency around it. So how you're identifying yourself and with the potential that you're seeing for yourself, you're really tuning into that in a really great way. Now, I do feel like some of this might involve another person. You might have a project with another person or with someone that you're really connected with on a soul vibe. However, this is tuning into your own energy, even above and beyond whoever you might be connected with as you're moving forward. So make sure that you're always vibing with, does this really feel like my energy? Does this really feel like my thing? And if you stay in that lane, you'll never go wrong. Your heart will lead you, but just remember that this is a huge expansion happening for you. Does that make sense, Jennifer?
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah, I would be super excited getting these cards. I looked down, I was like, ooh, I wanted that today. I didn't get that, but I was like, that's awesome. It's very empowering. So remember, with these aces, you're just opening up. So be receptive, be open, and look at what you feel and sense your full potential is. Don't cut corners on that. Like be extravagant in your imagination, be expansive in the way that you think and the way that you feel about this, and then see where it takes you and where it goes. Because I just feel like there's an alignment happening for you. If all of these openings are happening, it's a very, very integrative alignment time for you where you're going to be stepping into more responsibility, not only for yourself, potentially for others, but it's going to vibrate with your energy.
Okay.
Yeah, have fun.
Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Well, there it is.
You know, I love it, but that just brings up an interesting point for myself, and that is, look, this lovely lady is not even touching the cards through the internet web. Maggie's able to shuffle the cards in connection with her energy, her soul print of consciousness, and be usually very accurate with that information. My thing is don't you find that interesting that she doesn't even have to see the person, nothing, and yet can still get information, in this case through the tarot, through a different way of reading energy, many different ways to read it. It's all energy. It's in what way can we share that information to make it more empowering for the other, not disempowering. That's why, if you get it, here it is. If not, don't make crap up.
Well, there we go. Well, we've been doing that with you, Jamie, for a long time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Same deal.
Same deal. Yeah, just a different way.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Just a different way.
Yeah. It's all about the love, man.
Let's go back up to Karen. Karen, you're going to close out. What's up?
Oh, gee. I was just thinking, I was going, geez, Bob, this is so much fun. And actually, these are different ways of doing readings. I thought this could be fun. I used to do the body, soul, spirit, X-Well. So there was, doing that plus the psychic fair. So I went, this would be really cool if we got some of the callers to send in, and they could just talk to you and give it the birth date. And if they want to send a picture, we could do some really cool stuff, the four of us.
Mm.
And then I could also do the aura, so they, if they wanted to see what the aura looked like, and then do a session, with Jamie and Maggie, and then the four of us, and then see their aura after, and we could send them even a 2-minute little thing. So I thought that would be kind of a fun kind of thing. See, as we're thinking on the solstice, and things are coming in. So I don't know if you guys are open to that, but I'd love to do you, Jamie, and Maggie, and then Bob. We could do another one too, but I think this is another way that we can do the readings in there. And what you're talking about is the quantum entanglement, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Space, right. So in here, I can take a look at it. Not only do I do sort of remote viewing, but face reading, right, and iridology. But it's another way to take the picture. And this one's voice activated. That's what I didn't talk about. This is one of the few things that you actually speak into it and do a photo, and then we also do the read. So you can actually do astrotheology or all sorts of cool things. So, and I wanted to just validate something that you said to me right at the beginning of the show, Jimmy. You talked about someone I hadn't talked to in about a year, which is actually my children.
Oh, very nice.
So a lot of this stuff, I was like, geez, and I was just sitting there going, I hope he's right on this one.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, the children, they've been gamed, they've been MK Ultra. I was up there, actually saw an Umbrella Corporation T-Virus.
Wow.
Vehicle up here. So I'm very well aware of what's going on. And, it's built into all their gaming. And I was like, the children need to come through. There are some of us that, we're waiting on that thing. Gosh, they weren't vaccinated, one of them. So, but
awesome.
I think that's really important. And I'm really
Well-
curious, just to round out, and thank you again. What's Maggie picking up? Did you?
Yeah.
Mag, what you got?
Oh,
Women to
for
women.
your-
that's what I-
yeah. I wrote that down because I knew I was going to reshuffle. Okay, so in your reading, it's very interesting. The Four of Cups popped as a focal point, which is really building emotional security, and also there's a feeling of overcoming emotional stagnation. Okay, and I feel like right now there could be an opening that happens, but there's definitely what I would call things that are being stirred to the surface of consciousness, right? You do have the High Priestess. You're pulling off of an amazing intuition. You can trust your messages that you're getting, but the Chariot moves you forward. Okay, the Chariot's also about all the traveling that you are talking about doing. Okay, so that just is there, and you're going to be traveling. But when you're traveling with your heart, what does that mean? Like, it's all about having the courage to move forward, be like, okay, I can do this again, and especially if for whatever reason we have a heaviness in our heart, or something that has been stirred that needs to be healed. It's like, okay, I'm ready to move forward again. It's okay. And there's a level of overcoming stagnant energy in your energy field. Okay. And about moving forward. And it's going to bring more balance into your life, energetic balance, so that you're not doing too much. You're not receiving too much. You feel like, oh, not like I have it up to here. It's like, okay, I feel good. I feel balanced and even keel. But I also feel with the Chariot, there's a level of commitment too, because you're a very committed person in general, right? You could tell anyone who has done all those accomplishments, they have a committed type of energy. But here with the Chariot, you're looking at, what do I need to be committed to about moving forward, so that I feel 100% secure in my environment, my life, everything. Because I do feel like you're shaking things up right now. Like you're shaking up the world around you for one, but you're shaking up the what we would call our home base, right? Your home base is not a home base. You don't, and it's not that you don't have a home base, but it's being changed, it's being shaken up, it's being moved, relocated, that type of energy. And when we are uprooted, so to speak, we are beings of the earth, and we need to plant roots sometimes. And you're just waiting to feel balanced before you plant them. And once you do, you're fine. You're going to be fine, But I feel like that's the drive forward, is to kind of stir the kettle a little bit, heal whatever is coming up to be healed, and just stay, really focused. There's also a building phase with the fours that we look at, One's a tear down and one's a build with a four. And this is the funny thing about this reading. I was looking at it going, I don't know if she's building or tearing down, but, I feel like you're doing both, Yeah, I feel like the stuff that is being initiated to come to the surface, to change the structures that are in your life, are going to help you build new structure and a more effective structure for your energy to stay balanced in how you share that with the world.
Thank you. That was amazing. That's so like bang on, like in there. So when you think of what we do, because most people don't know what the clan mothers are. So, that's why I suggest they look at tribal laws or go back to Project Ascension, because we're the original loyal title holders. We have Gaia's blood running through us. So we actually are the protectors or the guardian for this planet. And that's one of the things that I thought was really amazing. I just wanted to thank you guys. It's been really fun. It was a pleasant surprise that really made my day.
I have one question for you.
Sure.
Because it's just been on my mind. I can't get it out. So, did you know someone named Marion Dennis long time ago?
Yeah, actually, it rings a bell. Yeah.
Okay, he was half Lakota Sioux and half Irish. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to you sometime, because I just feel like you've met my mentor, and I'm like, I need to know who this person is.
A lot of people go in there, they assume that I'm always Aboriginal and Native. I'm not. I'm with the white tribes, and that's what people don't realize. The whole nations, and it's not First Nations, it's first one of the 12. So a lot of us, I represent the white tribe. So yes, but I've been in contact with a lot of the Lakota, Sioux, Micmac. I'm in the Cree, Nehiyawak, Sinaiaks. So I integrate there. I was one of the ones that went after Queen Elizabeth and put in all those arrest warrants for the international courts because of the children in Kamloops. I've been on their grave. So there's been a lot that way, so, but yeah, it's funny that you mentioned all that. It really touched me in a beautiful way. So I wanted to thank you, Bob, also for facilitating this today. It's been a hoot to get back together with you.
We make, you know, that we make things happen in this show and on this station. As a matter of fact, I mean, we have somebody was in that before that to try to get in that, but we couldn't because she was going to be too late. She's a host on Pyramid 1, 2.
Oh, really?
Station 2. And she was trying to get in here, but she was an hour early when she tried to do it. Now here is a young lady who started out in podcast, came on to Station 2 a long time ago, and then have been having guests in that back and forth and everything else, and now has been discovered and is going into movies.
Are you joking? That's amazing.
No, awesome. I mean, people, you'd be surprised. I mean, sometimes it takes me back, a lot, because somebody will write you and say, like when you said or something you talked about or whatever else, and you look at where these people come from, and you're in shock. Why would some guy would have come from an island that nobody knows about? Be listening to Pyramid 1. We're simple. We're good. People like to listen. They don't know what's coming out of our mouths next. There is no set direction that we're going into. It's a major, umbrella when we do these shows. And it's very, very interesting. It's not like watching, I mean, let's face it, you watch TV or you listen to the radio now, it's doom and gloom. We're not talking doom and gloom. We're talking about making you better. Just like I said to somebody the other day, they were asking me, what's I am? I am. Well, I am. Oh, baby, they opened up the wrong door.
Yeah, we are that we are.
Come here, let me tell you, So, I mean, seriously, I mean, this is these kind of things that are great. And I wish I had more people in the screen net, because in this way here we see all the faces and everything else. Then people get to, you gain knowledge through people interacting with each other and speaking or asking a question, or somebody else answer. Maybe somebody knows an answer I never heard, or maybe somebody that 100,000 people who listen to the shows, and that could get a grasp on. So it's all good stuff. Definitely. And as I said, right now we got Canada, Arizona, and Florida together, and we can have anywhere, any place, period. It'll work.
Awesome.
Because I do have a ghost friend that does my tech work.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes, you do.
Yeah, he helps me a lot. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, hey, listen, guys, so we gotta get together again. We gotta talk.
Yeah, I'm open to this. This has been exciting, even just to do this for fun once in a while. Yeah, I mean, it's a different way, different approaches, but I like the way it all fits together.
Vibe nicely. Definitely.
Yeah, I'd love to do another spot with you guys.
Anybody wants to get in touch with Jamie, just go to www.jamieclark.net. There's a contact on there. He will get the message. And then this way here you can trade, addresses or email addresses and that or whatever else, or meet each other on Skype. If you don't call, you don't know. So therefore, to know, you got to make the call. Right?
Kind of like Karen. All she had to do was call in, and it took off a life on of its own.
Oh, sure we do. Okay. Anyway, listen, this has been awesome. Maggie, Jamie, always. And you guys are like the best. Yes, the heart is there. Karen, you're the best. She's my lover up in Canada, so don't worry about a thing.
Yeah, if you need to get a hold of me, clanmother13@gmail with the K.
I'll take it.
Facebook, Telegram.
There you go. Now, anybody wants to see a copy of this show, just go to YouTube tomorrow and go to Pyramid 1 Radio. Look up the channel. You will get to the channel. You can see anything you want to. Well, there's a million videos in there now. Also, write to Bob Charles Show. That's Bob Charles Show at live.com. I will send you copies of the show immediately. How's that? Bad? No, man, this is great. This is a great world. You can make it. You can help the world. Love the world. say I am. God bless y'all. Bob Charles. Out!
Better.